Hey guys, it's your favorite Pokeabber, and I'm back with something I talked about a little bit last year. Now, if you were following any of my TikToks last year, then you know I was talking about Team Rainbow Rocket. I made a video asking about, what happened to Team Rainbow Rocket? Why haven't we seen them in any of the mainline games? In that video, I talked about how they had so much untapped potential that I really do think it's a crime that we don't know what happened to them. And then I also talked about in another video, responding to, one of my more viral videos, about how I think if Pokemon made a game that used every single region, Team Rainbow Rocket would have to be the villain. And so that is part of the potential I'm going to talk about today with Team Rainbow Rocket. How could that potentially play out? Now, I'm not really going to get into how plausible is this, could, Nintendo, Pokemon, Game Freak do a game like this on the Switch 2? I talked about that at length last year. Like I said, that was one of my more viral videos. What I just want to talk about is how the plot kind of would go down. I really don't believe that it matters what region you start in, truthfully be told, but I do know that because Alola was where we first got introduced to Team Rainbow Rocket, that should play a big factor, and I do believe that you do end off in Kanto. So even if you start off in Kanto, you're ending off in Kanto. But for this scenario, I think it's probably best if we start off in the Sinnoh region, just because of Dialga and Palkia and Arceus being what they are. I picture this game starting a little bit kind of like, Legends Arceus, where you had Arceus kind of talk to you. But this time, instead of it just being Arceus, it would also be, Dialga and Palkia there too. And instead of starting off with completely no memory, you would have fragments of your memory. And as you're going through the game, you start to uncover some of your memory that you were about to lose before a divine intervention, before Arceus pulled you out of the fire. And as you're finding out this stuff, you're also finding out that the reason you were losing is because you were basically facing Super Cyrus. You were facing a Cyrus that had succeeded at one point and decided to conquer your world, the world in which is the normal timeline. And he came there to conquer it, to either help out the Cyrus that was about to lose, or he got rid of that Cyrus. We can do whatever we want with that one. And so you would go through, the Sinnoh region, but you wouldn't necessarily be going through to beat the champion and all that. You'd be going through kind of collecting clues. So what you'd be doing is you'd be starting in a fresh Sinnoh region or going back in time, kind of at the start of your journey, kind of uncovering clues and whatnot. And as you start to uncover the clues, you start to find out that, as I said before, that this Cyrus isn't this world's Cyrus. The one you were about to lose to isn't this world's Cyrus. It's a different Cyrus. And so as you're going through the Sinnoh region, this Cyrus is starting to pick up on things like, this is different, that this is completely different. Like, he's having a large sense of deja vu, even more so than usual, but he's having a large sense of deja vu that he was about to defeat you, but for some reason you got pulled out. And so the moment in the game where he meets you at Mount Coronet for the first time and he talks to you, that's the moment where he starts finally piecing it together like, wait a second, I was about to defeat you. And just as he's about to do some super flash to finish you off, you get pulled off into a different region. And at that moment, he realizes that you got pulled out and you got saved by something. That's when Rainbow Rocket Giovanni steps in saying, there are other forces at play here. And it's kind of rinse and repeat with each of the main villains of each game, because they're starting to realize, wait a second, they were about to conquer everything, and then here you are coming and kind of ruining their plans. So basically, you're stopping them from achieving their goals. And it's disrupting their timeline, so to speak, kind of opening up cracks and fissures in time, sending them back to their own timeline because of what you're doing for Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia. And as you go through, you eventually start realizing that you can save other regions. You can save the Hoenn region, you can save the Johto region, you can save the Sinnoh region. But then you get to Alola and you find out that this one is really well guarded for some reason, because you come to find out that this is the stronghold for Team Rainbow Rocket. Well, one of them. And so then you come to find out that because this is the stronghold, you realize that there has to be another one somewhere else. That's where you find out that Kanto is the headquarters of Team Rainbow Rocket. And so you go through the Alola region trying to break down the stronghold that is Team Rainbow Rocket's stronghold, and you eventually succeed, thus continuing to send cracks and fissures throughout all of time and space. To the point to where you send all the team leaders that had succeeded back to the Kanto region for one final glorious showdown. And this is where we're going to have a little bit of fun with it, where we're going to see different versions of these team leaders. Like you'll see female versions of, the team leaders like Archie and Maxie. You'll see, child versions of them. You'll just see a bunch of different versions of them. And they kind of act like gym leaders, and they kind of act like the Elite Four, with Giovanni, Rainbow Rocket Giovanni, being the champion, but his champion battle being a double battle, a 2-on-1 battle with himself and his counterpart that failed. So yeah, that's what I kind of picture thinking about the plot of a Pokemon game where you go to all the regions and Team Rainbow Rocket being the final boss. But those are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear yours. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. All right, have a good one.